Chris Hankes is here. Come here, Chris. I tend to do this to him a lot in the webcast.
Nice to see you.
Chris Hankes. This is a strategically placed chair. So it's right next to the company that you work for. And tell me what you've seen here the last couple days, because you've been involved.
Yeah, this is always a blast. We really enjoy this week, watching how quickly these kids are able to progress with this show. They come in, they work really hard. They make our instruments sound great. The staff is extremely talented. It's a whole lot of fun for us.
Tell me about the size of the percussion section. What is the complement?
They are marching 5 snares, 3 tenors, 5 bass drums on the field. And it's a challenge for those guys to be heard with the powerful winds that this band has. Actually, they're almost a little undersized.
Wow.
For this group.
Wow, I'm amazed by that.
Yeah, we had to add sound projectors to the snares today to try to get them to cut through this group.
Wow, I mean, as a wind player, I'm proud, but I mean, I'm still surprised.
Well, they are putting out some sound.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Tell us about the bass drums. What are the 5 bass drums today?
The sizes they have on the field this year are 16-inch, 18-inch, 20-inch, 24-inch, and a 28 by 15-inch depth as far.
Whoa!
As
So the big thumper.
Yeah.
Thumpers out there. Yeah, that's just awesome.
The front ensemble. Should forget them. I think there are.
Never.
Yeah, there are 3 marimbas this year.
Far out.
2 students that are playing on 4 1/3 marimbas and 1 on a 4.6 instrument.
Wow.
3 vibraphones.
Nice.
A rack player. And this year they've integrated the combo instruments, the electric guitar and bass guitar, keyboard player, all into the front ensemble as high school students that are participating, rather than using an army ensemble.
That's awesome.
Kind of cool, yeah.
And so they're integrated right into the front.
Exactly.
So the rhythm players take the. Hang on a second. I got to get technical here for a second. And the thing, Chris, is that amazes me is that we've got high school musicians that are okay with sitting in a front ensemble. Did they come from a front ensemble? Do you know?
I believe they have some experience playing with marching ensembles, whether it's marching band or like indoor drumline or that kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure these are students that have been involved in this kind of activity before.
Yeah. It's an amazing experience. When I'm a bass player before I was a tuba player.
Is that right?
And having the battery out on the field is a shocker when all you've ever played with was a stationary rock and roll band. You know? So if they got this done in 3 days, they must have tried it before. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done an incredible job.
That's cool. And so the front ensemble rehearsed separately and then Battery had its own rehearsals?
They've broken down into those kind of sectionals. Probably it's been 50-50, you know, as far as the rehearsal time and how they split it up.
It's so much happens in such a short time. It interests a lot of us out in the audience to know if the battery separates too. So does it go bass, tenor, and snare, and then come back together?
They do a little bit of subsectionals like that. There are some gentlemen on the SportsLink staff that actually have a lot of instructional experience themselves with marching band and drum corps, and those guys jump in and help out in those situations. They supplement the instructional staff.
That's really great. Extra staff members.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's cool. And then, in the end, how much time was spent in ensemble on the first day? In other words, when everybody came together, that happened on the first day?
It did. They actually had just a 2-hour rehearsal block the first night, on Tuesday night. They got together on the first night and started in sectionals, probably for roughly an hour of that, and then an hour they put the whole band together right away the first night, and we're out there
Jump
playing.
Right in.
Now, actually, you know, we talk about how quickly these kids have learned this show. There's actually one member of the ensemble who's playing the auxiliary percussion on the rack in the front ensemble that wasn't even enlisted until Tuesday. Something happened with somebody who couldn't come, and so she showed up on Wednesday morning and started learning notes. And she had her parts memorized by the next day, and is out there doing this. And didn't even know on Monday she'd be here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can hardly remember back to high school, but I remember there were students like that had all their circuits ready to go at 16, 17 years old. It's like that's a quick learn for her. So those kinds of things are incredible. And as we sit here and wait for everybody to get together, and we hear the tuning regiment of the winds going, and we have the guard out here trying to figure out how to take about a 40-foot long piece of cloth and make it flutter exactly the right way. It's all of those exactitudes that make marching band something that teaches young people about detail.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the attention to detail is unquestionable.
And you're known for that. Notice how I got to that? So that in the percussion design, I've always been amazed by when we've had contact, because I was working on brass things while you were working on drum things.
Absolutely.
How the smallest details get handled by you. And if you were a tuba designer, they would tell you to go away because you're too detailed for them. They'd probably make you design treble clef instruments,
Well, obviously the details are very important, Having some performing experience and instructional experience myself, and having a lot of friends out there teaching, we took a lot of good feedback and tried to implement it and build a better mousetrap, make something that would address some of the long-time issues that are out there,
That's awesome. Is there, in terms of use of the drum, so now we're talking about the battery out on the field.
Yes.
A high school student versus a college student, will they prefer a different design because of human growth, just not being quite the full size they're going to be?
That's a good question. You may see some variance in bass drum sizes, in college marching bands where they can get away with using a big 32-inch marching drum to fill a big stadium, and they have big bodies to carry it, they'll typically do it. Sometimes we'll see sizes that big in DCI as well, though it's a challenge to the kind of body movement that those groups present. Typically in high school, 28 is about as large as you will go with the bass drums.
Yeah.
With tenors, a lot of high school groups might use like a 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 sort of setup, but most of the competitive groups use the big sizes now, based around 10, 12, 13, 14 with a single 6 or 2 6s or a 6 and an 8.
And competitive high school groups will go large.
Absolutely, yeah, just because they need that kind of sound to really have an ensemble that balances well, and in a competitive arena that's important, and that's what they're using here. They're using big sets with this group. These kids are very capable of that, and most of them are used to that from their schools.
That's awesome. Now, the people were selected through an MENC process.
Correct.
Once they were selected, was their music sent to them ahead of time for this show?
Yes. My understanding is they get the music well ahead of time, and I think they even submit some videos to they have checkpoints along the way to make sure everybody's on track with learning their music and that kind of thing. And so they all pretty much come here with the music learned, and then it's just a matter of putting it on the field and learning to play together as a group and cleaning the ensemble.
So they did their homework.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What an honor. I mean, I said, by the way, you're in the high school All-American marching band, so of course they would do everything they could to get this done.
Yeah, absolutely. These kids are the best of the best, and they do it right, and it's really a great week for them as well. The way they're treated, and the kind of event that the Army puts on here, and all of the sponsors. I think it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for these kids. It really is.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Chris, very much. Good talking to you. We're right on time. Your drummers just walked in.